Is it working? I think it's working. Hello guys. Welcome to the live tutorial for Fall Fun Butts. It's a continuation of the butt series. I'm sure maybe some of you tuning in right now have already done 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of the butt series. All right, we're still a minute out. We'll wait for more people to log in before we get to it. My name is Chris, if we've never met before, if you've never painted with me before. And of course, we're here with Artist Palette Durham Region. And we are doing this in acrylics today. I have also taught watercolors, some drawing events, different techniques, scribble art, stippling. But yeah, you may know me from another butts video. This one's very seasonal. I try to make seasonal ones. This is, I think it's the 8th of the butt series. We can have a look at some of the other ones. And let me know in the chat, the live chat, maybe you've done one of the butts before or more. Maybe let me know in the chat where you're from, or if this is your first tutorial, or let me know anything at all. Let me know if it's your birthday or something. Just chat it up in the chat. Here's some of the butts we've done in the past. Safari butts. And all these videos are still available on our channel right now. If you really enjoy this one, you can go back and do any of the other butt series. Barnyard butts, that's available on our channel. Woodland butts from last fall, so last year around this time, woodland butts. And then getting into winter, I try to do seasonal ones. Frosty butts from last winter. Happy birthday, Janice! See, I knew there'd be a birthday. It's Janice's birthday. So glad you could join me on your special day. Dino butts from this year. We did beach butts this summer. I thought that one was hilarious. So far, we'd always done like animal butts, human butts, beach butts. I thought that one was hilarious. And then Canada Day, we did something a little different. We did a watercolor. We did a watercolor for Canada Day. Canadian butts, eh? That's just a little bit of some of the tutorials that I have on our channel right now. There's loads more, lots of watercolors. If you've never tried watercolors, try 1 or 2 of those. Very easy, simple, beginner-friendly watercolor tutorials. Hello to Diana in Alabama. It is pretty adorable, I think. Yeah, I like the different squirrel colors. You can do different animals, different squirrel colors. What if you want to do a dog and a cat and a bunny and a raccoon? Anything you want. Okay, what time is it? It's 2 minutes after. We're going to start with supplies, and then we'll get to painting. And if anyone logs in late, or maybe you're watching this tomorrow, you are able to, even during the live, pause and rewind. So if I'm getting ahead of you, even during the live, just hit pause, catch up, do your thing, take a break, and then just continue at your own pace. You don't have to go at the same pace as me. And after the video is done, it'll be forever on our channel, on our page. So you can watch this tomorrow. You can watch this next fall. You don't have to do it today. Let's do supplies. I've got like 3-ish brushes. I usually have these 3. They're not fancy. They're not well taken care of. 1, 2, 3, kind of like a big, a medium, and a small. Look how flayed that is. I don't take very good care of them, but we'll get the job done. And then like a little thin guy there for some black lines and white lines and details. So those are the 3 I'm using today. Round brushes would be fine, like a filbert brush, dollar store brushes, perfectly fine. This is what I'm using. I have some paint, acrylic paint, of course. If you have these 5 colors stocked in your house at all times, you can paint any of our tutorials. So black and white's here. And then your 3 primaries, yellow, blue, red. Those 5 colors is all you need. You can make brown, purple, orange, green, pink, gray. You can make any color, turquoise, with these 5. So this is what I always have in stock. I've got a cup of water, just a junky cup. Don't use your nice cups. They will get stained. A little rag. So I like to use a rag to wipe my brushes because it's more green. Paper towel would be just fine, paper towel. Some kind of surface to paint on. So I'm going to use a canvas. Mine's quite big, 20 by 16 or 16 by 20, if you will. Any size. It could be a cute little 8 by 10. It could be a nice little, what if it's a square? What if it's a 12 by 12 square? You could make this work. What if you're going to put your painting on a beautiful flat rock or a flat piece of wood, like the cross section of a tree? This would look awesome on that. What if you use fabric paint and do this on a t-shirt? How adorable. So some kind of surface. Oh, paper too. What if you have a beautiful pad of acrylic paper? You can do an acrylic painting or oil painting on paper. They make pads for that. Definitely put it on paper. And what else do I have? I have a tablecloth or bed sheet down to protect my dining room table. I've got my apron on to protect my outfit. Some kind of drink. I've got some water handy. I'm going to be talking a lot. Got a little pear cider. I thought that would go well with the fall theme, a little pear cider. I think that's it for supplies. We are going to get started. If you need to run and grab something, just hit pause and then come right back. Easy peasy. Hello to Daniel in Maypearl, Texas. Awesome. Awesome. I wonder if in Texas you have fall colors yet. Maybe not. I mean, the trees in my neighborhood, I'm in Ontario in Canada, they're still green. So I'm imagining in Texas, it's pretty green. Probably. Just guessing. So let's have a little closer look at fall fun butts. We've got 4 little critters buried in the leaves. You only see their butts. I said earlier, you can change the animals. You can change the number. What if you want it to represent your family? So you want to do that amount, like 3 or 4 or 5 members of your family. Different animals, cats, dogs, raccoon, skunk could be cute. We've done skunk butts in the past. What if you just only want chipmunks? Did you notice there's a chipmunk here and then squirrels? You could do all chipmunks or all squirrels. What else could you change? You could change up, I've got a scarf in the tree. What if you don't want that, or you want to add more or more trees? You can change up anything. Instead of a blue sky, maybe a sunset color sky, maybe a cloudy sky. I encourage you to put your own spin on this, make it your own composition. I do, but I don't want to see carbon copies. I want to see your personality coming out in this composition. Change it up a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to pop this over here. And I'm going to rotate the camera. So I can see both of those. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. You can see both. You can see me working away here. We are going to start with a little sketch, if you will. I'm going to sketch with paint, but you could grab a pencil and do your sketch with pencil. Absolutely. But I just like to sketch with paint, and I'm going to use a little thin paintbrush to do my sketch first. And the color of the sketch is up to you. I'm going to do maybe like a light baby blue color for my sketch color. Maybe you want to do a light gray to kind of emulate pencil. Or you could just use an actual pencil for the sketch. I've got my thin brush. I've got my paint here. I like to get my brush wet. A little wet there. I want to make a light blue, baby blue. Get a little blue. And I'm going to make a little blue pile. Let's go right over here. So blue with some white. Now it's okay if you like accidentally make a lot of baby blue because we're going to use a lot of blue in the sky. So you could potentially make a lot of baby blue here, and we'll definitely use it up. So this is like baby blue. See that baby blue? I'm going to make mine a little darker so that the camera can see it, but at home you can have yours fairly light because you can see it yourself. You're right there in front of it. I'm going to make mine a little darker for demonstration purposes, but it's all going to get covered up. We're going to cover it up with the blue sky, the brown trees, the pile of leaves. Okay, so I've got some baby blue, slightly darker than if I was just doing this at home by myself. Shall we start with sort of a rough outline of where we want our big old pile of leaves to be? It could be any shape. Mine is kind of like a pyramid, triangle. If you want yours to be more like a lump, like a big old lump like this, going all the way across, sure, do it. Okay, so mine, and this could be messy. It doesn't have to be all beautiful and perfect. Make it nice and tall. Make it take up a lot of room. Bigger than mine even. Make it even bigger. I think this one's a little bit bigger than that. That's okay. Yours could be up to here if you want. Maybe you don't want any trees to the left and right, and you want your leaf pile to go all the way over here. Big leaf pile with like 8 squirrels in it. Do it. So it's messy. Like if you look close, look at those lines. And if you have thick globby paint, just kind of smooth it out. We don't want globs. This is going to dry really quickly. So that's my leaf pile. Let's add some squirrel butts. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the 3 squirrels with the 1 chipmunk, but change the number and the position to wherever you want, literally anywhere. So I'm going to have a little rear end sticking out this way and a bushy tail in any direction if you want your bushy tail going this way, that way, straight out. Look how messy. There's thick parts, thin parts, wispy parts. It's a sketch. Make it sketchy. So this is his bum. Some little paws. You can kind of sketch in his little stumpy legs. I wouldn't go into too much detail with the paws because as we fill in the sky, I think some of the paw detail will get covered up. So don't worry if your paws aren't great. Mine are not very good. I like the kind of splayed out. I think it's just funny. Boom. So that's one guy. So we'll do another squirrel butt just like that, kind of in the middle of the gray guy, this gray one here. So maybe he's coming out of the leaves right here. You can make a little line for yourself or whatever, a little squiggle, and just do the exact same thing we just did. A little rear end. And then my tail's kind of going up and then a little to the right. It could go left, it could go down, whatever kind of tail action you want to do. Thick, thin. These don't have to be the same. Different squirrels, different sizes. Some little stumpy legs. Again, still very messy. Okay, so those were very similar to each other. And if you're still working on those, just hit pause. And then when you're ready for the third one, unpause. So the brown one, the far one, where's my, I can point with this. The brown guy, he's kind of like a side view, profile view, because you can see his thigh. I guess that would be his thigh, but still very similar. We're going to have his rear end coming out of the pile of leaves. Anywhere, here, down here, up at the top, anywhere. So that's like the start of his rear end. But then I want like his thigh. I think that's his thigh. And then his paw is coming down this way. It's a little smaller. He's got a little smaller bum. And then any old tail. And all my paint is very, very thin, no thick globbies. If you have thick globbies, you just spread them out smooth. Kind of wisp them till they're smooth. This will dry. Even if I touch this one, yeah. The first one I did, dry. Second one I did, pretty darn dry. This third one, well, this is so thin, it's already dry. Well, a little bit blue. That's how thin and sketchy and wispy. So Ryan's question was, is paint better than pencil for the sketch? It's not better. It's just, it's more convenient. It's right here. I have it right here. Sometimes with pencil, I do have a pencil handy in case I need it. Sometimes the gray lead will blend in with, like if I'm painting the sky later or a tree, sometimes you might get a little of that pencil lead in the paint. That's okay. Free shading. It's not better. It's not worse. It's the same. It's just personal choice. Pencil's good for erasing, right? It's good for erasing. Some people really want to be able to erase. Not me. I just slap it on there. So we've got 1, 2, 3 squirrels, a little chipmunk. Here he is. Very sketch. Just make it smaller. Make it smaller. Anywhere. It could be here. Here you could have a whole family of chipmunks just peppering the leaves here. Let's do a small little bum here coming out of the leaves. Maybe a slightly, like I think chipmunk tails are more straighter and more consistently thin than like a poof. More ratty, rat-like. But any kind of tail. So I made mine just more consistent versus like that. It could be wider, it could be longer. And then give them some little legs. Again, you don't have to put a ton of detail in these little feet, these little toes. A lot of it will get covered up when we fill in our sky, fill in our leaves, and then we re-add the paw color back in to get that paw back. Okay, what else could we just loosely sketch? We could sort of loosely sketch where we want our grass to be. A couple of lines there. Could be higher, could be lower. Well, not too much lower. This can't float. Doesn't have to be grass. What if you want your ground to be all leaves, just a solid blanket of leaves? Could be dirt, mud, could be maybe like a rocky ground, maybe like gray, gravel, could be. And then I will just loosely sketch in where I want a couple of trees. So I've got 1, 2. You could have just 1. You could have 3 trees, 0 trees, anything. Any width. So I've got this tree starting like within the grass. Move out of the way. Get out of here. This tree's starting here, whereas this one is beyond. You don't see the bottom, but you could do both of them like this, or you could do both of them like that. Whatever you want your composition to be like. So let's bring this over here a little bit. This one's going right off the page. Trees are slightly wider near the bottom. And mine's not perfectly straight. Yours doesn't have to be straight. I'm not going to sketch all the branches. We don't need that. Just the basic where the trunk's going to be. That's all we need for now. Trunk, trunk. Same with like scarf, rakes, leaves. We don't need to sketch those. This is pretty much it for the sketching. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Everything's nice and light. It's going to dry in moments. A little tacky there. Beauty. I'm going to give that a little wash. If you want to work on your sketch like a little bit longer than I am, just hit pause. Pause the video. The wonders of technology. All right, we're not going to use this guy. We're going to fill in big areas now. So depending on the size of your canvas, your paper, whatever you're painting on, choose an appropriate size brush. So for my sky, for my leaf pile, I'm going to use a nice big brush, cover a lot of area. But if you're working on a much smaller scale, you know, don't go for this guy. Go for a medium. And later on, too, when I'm making, say, branches, and I'm working with my medium, let's say, but you would prefer to work with a smaller brush, do it. Change your brush whenever it's appropriate for what you're working on. Don't just go by what I'm using on the area I am, because mine's bigger. Mine's bigger. Okay, I've got kind of a medium brush. It's seen a lot of paintings, this little guy. I like to get my brush wet. So I'm going to start with filling in the blue sky. Blue sky, or the color of your choice. We did have some of that baby blue from the sketching. Let's use some of that. I can make a little more too. Grab a little blue, more white. Any shade, you know. The sky is blue, but there's so many different times when you look at the sky, it's a different shade of blue. Right now, my sky is kind of a little bit pinky yellow. Sun is setting. So here's some blue. That's the color. That's what mine looks like. I mean, I'm sure it looks different on the camera than in real life, but that's what mine looks like. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's say you put some of this on here and you realize, oh, it's too dark. Just grab some white, mix it in, cover that up, lighten it up. You can darken it. Yeah. So we're going to apply this blue sky thin, very thin. Spread it out. No thick globbies. That's one of my mottos. No thick globbies. Pretty much at all in this painting. And then if you look closer, my sky is not perfectly even. There's these kind of marks that I intentionally left. White, a little blue, kind of crisscrossy. Some are going on an angle like this, this. Look at these. So it's okay if your paint is a little bit streaky, because we're going to purposely streakify it. And as I'm filling in my sky, I'm going to get close to my lines, my sketchy lines. But if I go accidentally, you know, onto my squirrel body a little bit. It's not the end of the world. If I go accidentally onto some of my squirrel's toes, we're going to cover that up. So don't worry about, you know, your sketch being a little bit covered. You know where the sketch is. You know where it is. When we go to fill it in, it'll be okay. We'll bring back the detail that we lost, like this footy. Where is it? He looks a little square now. Oops. Not a problem. So yeah, I'm kind of brushing on weird angles, this way, but always nice and thin, spread thin. Let's say you have some very thick paint, and maybe it's like giving you a lot of like canvasy texture. Maybe your canvas has a deeper texture than mine, and you can't like fill in those little gaps. Dip it in the water. Get a little water. That'll help. Ooh, that's a little too much water. Helps spread it, thin it, get it in those nooks and crannies. You can also paint the edges of your canvas. So like the edge. I mean, like, you know, up here, the side, the edge, if you like that look of a finished edge. I usually don't. I leave it kind of light, a little messy. And if you're looking at this kind of effect that I did and you don't really like that, you don't have to do that. You can just do blue. Just do blue. That's fine. You do some puffy white clouds. Some nice billowy fall clouds. Let's say you're painting away and then you run out of the blue color you were using. Just make up some more. And if it's slightly different than the blue you were using before, that's okay. Because the sky would have, you know, different shifts of color in it. It's okay if some areas are darker or lighter. Mine's not perfect. Mine's not crisp. Look at this edge. It's not crisp. Look at this. Not crisp. Kind of messy. Kind of wispy. Look at that. Not even a problem. That's okay. I'll add the blue here and here, and then I'll add some blue and white kind of marks in my sky. I just like doing it. There's a lot of paintings that I do that kind of effect. Let me have a little look here. What about the butts ones? Oh, yeah, look at this one, the barnyard butts. Look at that sky. Very crisscrossy, visible brush strokes. It's a style. What about, yeah, the sky? That's not smooth. Very brush strokey. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be adding, brown here. That'll help kind of cover up these wispy bits. We're going to add, leafy colors here. That'll cover up those wispy edges. There we go, kind of a base coat of blue. And then I'll just, even with the dirty brush, there's still lots of blue on this brush. I'm just gonna, grab a little white. Now there's a little white. Maybe I just kind of wisp. I can do diagonals, X's. You could have it like more subtle or more bold than I do. Oh, hey, Jared. Thanks for joining. Yeah, if anyone's joining a little bit late, you can always put the playback all the way back to the beginning and see me start right from the beginning. You haven't missed anything. So just little bits of white here and there. It's starting to give a little texture, but it's still very blue. The white is wet, the blue is wet. It's blending together. All right, and then I'll get, even with the dirty brush, still got blue on it, still got white on it. I'll grab a little bit of like just blue. Wisp some of that in. It's really just to give the sky like a little bit of pizzazz, because it is kind of, it's background. It's not the main focus. I think the focus is right here, the butts, the leaves, the bright, beautiful colors. Oh, what am I knocking over? Oops. Just surrounded by canvases. Okay, there's a little bit of blue. I mean, heck, you could put, what if you want to put some streaks of pink? Maybe it's starting to be sunset. You want to put a little pink in there? Go for it. Or anything else. Yeah, subtle. The more you work it, like go with your brush over and over again, the more subtle it'll be. And that might be more your style. Yeah, there's really, I don't even have really a lot of paint on my brush anymore. I'm just kind of smoothing things. Crisscross this way, a little bit this way. You can go back to white, go get some more white. Maybe it got dark. Throw some more white back in. I'm kind of happy with that. I'm liking how subtle. Yeah, maybe a tiny bit more. Everything is still pretty darn thin, especially like near the sketch itself. I don't have any thick globby paint because I want to start filling in some of this stuff. So If you have any thick globs anywhere, just smooth them out. Just flatten them, spread them. I like that. That's looking good. Oh, that's a little much. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush. Jared, we did start at 6:30, but that's okay. You can put the playback back. So at the bottom of the screen, just take the little cursor, put it all the way back to the beginning, and you can watch it from the beginning with me. Okay. Give that a good wash. Get all the blue out. Wipe it. Maybe wash it a second time. Wipe it. We don't want any blue in what we're doing next. We're going to add a beautiful leafy color. So in the original version, I had a lovely yellow as the base of the leaves, but it doesn't have to be yellow. It could be orange, a light brown, a nice red, and then we add all the other colors on top, red, brown, orange, etc., etc. So really the first coat could be like any color you want, because it's good to poke through all in between. It's going to be seen around and under the colors we add on top. Yellow is a great choice, nice and bright, but if you really felt strongly about having like orange or red or brown as your main color, you could do that. So I have some yellow here. There's yellow straight out of the jug. This particular brand is called Start, and I just find that the yellow right out of the jar is a little bit see-through. So I always like to add like a daub, a big blob of white in with my yellow, and it still is going to be very yellow. I just add a little white to it. See, it doesn't look like it's changed at all, but I know there's white in it, and it's going to be less see-through for me. If your yellow is nice and opaque right out of the jug, you should be good. Look at that. Ooh. Bright. Love it. So we're going to do the whole leaf pile yellow, or the color of your choice. But again, thin, even, no thick globbies. I'm going to keep saying it, no thick globbies. And the blue of my sketch is dry. Maybe you come across a bit of your sketch that's a little wet, and maybe some of your yellow turns a little green. That's okay, because there would probably be some green leaves raked into the pile, because, you know, maybe not all the leaves fully changed color. Even if, like, I'm getting close to my background and maybe a little yellow and blue mixed together a tiny bit, not the end of the world. Green is a leaf color. And you'll notice that the yellow doesn't cover the blue. The blue is still kind of visible. And that won't be a problem. We're going to add grays, browns. That'll cover the blue. We will not have blue squirrels. They will be normal color squirrels. And there's black outlines too. That'll be very distracting too. Yellow all over, nice and even, no thick globs. If you see a thick glob, go back, spread it. Spread it, spread it, spread it. Yeah, some of my toes are completely yellow. Some of the tail has yellow on it. That's fine. Spread, spread, spread. Spread it out. Look at that. It kind of looks like they're diving into a pile of like gold, like money. That would also be a funny painting, especially if it was like Scrooge McDuck you know? Someone knows what I mean. All right, nice and yellow. Gorgeous. Don't wash the brush yet. Just leave that yellow. We will use yellow in our next color. Spread that out. Spread it. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, if you're still doing the yellow, just hit pause and join us. I'm going to do my green grass. Green grass, any shade of green, more of a emerald, more of a shamrock green. Maybe it's real dry where you are and your grass is a little brownish. Any shade. So green is yellow plus blue. So I've got my dirty yellow brush. I'm going to get a little bit of blue. The blue goes a long way. So start with a little bit of blue. Little. Here's some yellow here. Well, I'll make it right here. So we need enough green to, cover down here, right? So think about that. Maybe like a tablespoon amount. I don't know, hard to judge. So that green is too light. So I'm going to grab a little bit more blue. And you gradually get it to the green shade that you want. Just little bits of blue at a time. So it doesn't go too dark. So that's kind of a nice grassy color. That's not bad. I'm going to get a little more blue. A little bit more blue. Why not? And you can test it out. Give it a little test. Do I like it? It looks different in real life than on the computer, the camera. But that's nice. I think that's a nice shade. That's good. I'm going to paint in all my grass. And when I'm painting in my grass, I like to kind of, wiggle my brush around, make it look kind of grassy texture. And, maybe you could do a little bit of spiky little guys by the leaf pile. Make it look kind of grassy by the leaves. And even when we get to like painting the grass near the sky, you can kind of flick your brush to make it look grassy there. But in this like kind of big area, just kind of mush it around, flick it around. Flick it up, 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 up. A little bit grassy. If you want to get like a smaller brush and do some flicks of grass by the leaf pile, you can do that too. And this doesn't have to be perfectly round either. It could be a little bit wiggly, the edge of your leaf pile, because it's a pile, a random pile. And as you fill this in, maybe there's some parts of the grass that look darker, some that look lighter. That's okay. Grass is all different colors. Maybe I grab a little yellow on the brush and purposefully make a patch that's slightly lighter or darker. Get a little blue on the brush. Yeah, so adding a little blue on my brush made it a little darker. This is the tree that goes all the way off the page, so I'm not going to paint anything here. But this is the tree that kind of goes like here. So that's why I have some green here, but not there. But up to you. They could be the same. Again, if you are the kind of person that wants your edges painted, you could do all along the bottom, all along here. Do this little side edge right here. Maybe I'll take some yellow on the brush and just kind of dab around, blob around some yellow. It turns pretty green. That's okay. It's just little subtle little patches of different color. And some really wild tall grasses, or all nice and even. We're going to add black too along the edge, so that'll help with the texture. What else? Maybe a little bit of blue on my brush. A little bit of blue. Oh, there's a little white in there too. Bonus. Just kind of smudge in some blue, some white, some brown, just to give your grass a little bit of texture. It's pretty subtle. Oh, I'll finish over here. We gotta put some more over here. Sure. It's pretty subtle. It's not the main focus. We're gonna put leaves on top of the grass, rakes. There's gonna be black outlines. The grass is not the focus. Good. I'm happy with that. And again, it's all like thin, no thick globbies. So look at your grass. If there is thick globbies, just kind of smooth them down. That's pretty good. Pretty good. We're not done with this green color yet, so don't wash your brush yet. We're going to use some of that green. We're going to make a brown. So I'm going to make a brown color. What if you have like a brown tube, bottle, at home, pre-mixed brown? You can definitely use that. It'll be like a nicer, richer, chocolatey brown. But I need to make a brown because I don't have brown. Ooh, Daniel had a good suggestion. Leprechauns, butts in a pile of gold. St. Patrick's Day butts. Interesting, interesting. Rainbow in the background. I like it, I like it. You could even if I don't like teach that tutorial in the future, you could still do that one. You can make it on your own. All right, let's do some brown for the trees. So there's like a couple ways to make brown. I'm going to do green plus red. You could potentially do, sometimes I'll do orange plus black, gets me a brown. Just like two complementary colors together makes brown. So if you had, let's say you had blue and you had orange and like only had those colors, mixing them together, brown, boom. So I've got some green here. I'm going to add some red. Red plus green makes brown. So I just grabbed a little red to start, mix that up, and grab a little more red. If that doesn't give you like a brown that you like, try making some orange and add a little black, like little. That will make a brown. Everyone's browns are going to be completely different. So here's mine. It looks better on camera, I think, than in real life. In a strange turn of events, I'm going to add a little yellow. You could add a little yellow, warm it up a little bit. You could add maybe a little bit of white if you want it kind of a lighter brown, but like sparingly with the white, because it'll go really light very suddenly if you add too much white. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I like that. Brown. Let's see. We can test it out. Test it out on a tree. That's nice. Your trees could be different colors. Could do dark brown, light brown. A birch tree. Do a white tree with some black stripies for a birch tree. They could both be birch trees. Lots of trees have gray bark. Do some gray. Yeah, I'm happy with that brown color. I'm going to fill in my tree brown. Now, because my sky is dry, I can paint the brown on some of the blue sky, and that'll help kind of tidy up those messy edges. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, perfectly smooth. Trees are bumpy. They are wiggly. They are not smooth. It doesn't have to be like perfectly the same color all the way through. If there's some lighter patches, some darker patches, that's okay. But spread it out. Spread it out flat. No thick globbies. It's okay if like this is a little messy, the green and the brown is a little messy. We're going to add some black lines here. Give it a little more definition. So this could be a hot mess right here. That's fine. Okay. Do this guy again. Nice and thin and even, no thick globbies. Again, if maybe your paint is a little bit thick or being troublesome, maybe a little dip of water. Like sometimes I'll just dip, one little dip, and work that little bit of water in with the paint. And it's a little bit more spreadable. Let's say your sketch line, because I have this little blue sketch line, it's visible there. Even if I like paint the brown really thick, it's still a little visible. We're going to add lots of lines in this bark texture later, so it'll be distracted. It'll be, I don't know what I'm looking for. What word am I looking for? It'll be covered up. I'm not worried. Yeah, if your bark is streaky, that's fine because bark is streaky. If a little bit of blue is visible under the brown, it's just free shading. That's what that is. Free texture. Okay, there's my second tree, a little bit thicker near the bottom, as trees do. Oh, that's okay, Jared. That's what's nice about these lives. Even if you don't tune in right as we start, you can still rewind. All right, we're not quite done with the brown. Where's my, here he is, my pointer. We're going to add a few brown limbs, branches, twigs. There's a big thick one here. Any arrangement, any amount. I'm still using my medium brush, but at any point you want to use a thinner brush to get some smaller twigs, absolutely do that. The thing with this brush is I can turn it this way. So I can do wide branches this way, but if I just turn it, I can do thinner branches. You'll see. So maybe I want to do a thick one right here. I like to think about the letter Y when I paint branches and trees. So look at that. That's a big old letter Y. Easy. Then I can turn this stick into another letter Y. There's another letter Y. Y's on Y's. Any branch anywhere just becomes another letter Y. Here's another Y. How low do I want to go? Not too low. I liked keeping the branches kind of higher, like maybe here and up, so that the focus is right here. Your eye is drawn into this kind of frame of branches. And they can crisscross each other. They don't need to be perfectly avoiding each other. Branches can definitely touch each other, overlap. Don't be afraid. I think like this is a good amount for me, but you can have more, you can have less. And we are going to add more smaller little twiggies with black. Like this one's all black. Some of them just like little black little strokes here and there just to give it like a little more detail. But I think for brown, for me right now, this is a good amount. But you can have less or more. Let's do a big old, and I mean, it could cross in front of a squirrel too. A squirrel's tail, if I really wanted a branch to come like this way, it could cross. Even though that one isn't touching, this one could. What if it goes like that? That's fine. Everyone's compositions are different, so you make adjustments. And still everything is thin, no thick globs. Maybe one more here. Where else? Oh yeah, I did have kind of a lower one for the scarf, way over there for the scarf to hang on. If you want a scarf involved, let's do one like this. That could be nice for a scarf. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good amount for the brown for now. We're going to add black later. That's good. Still not quite done with the brown. Don't wash your brown brush yet. Brown. So depending on, what you drew here, do you want to have just one brown squirrel? Do you want to have several brown squirrels? Maybe you want to have rainbow colored squirrels. Maybe your family members have different favorite colors and you want to do a purple squirrel, a pink squirrel. That would look very cool. I think that would look phenomenal. It doesn't have to be a squirrel color. Let's have a little closer look. Come a little closer. So I gave my squirrels a little bit of texture by like doing little brush strokes. So really you're just seeing like the canvas kind of showing through because it's pretty thin, and that's how you're getting that kind of fuzzy texture. And then we do also add some little white, some little black to give it even more texture. Gray, brown, reddish, orangish, whitish. I have seen white squirrels. There is a park in Ontario that has like cream colored squirrels, and I've seen them. They're pretty interesting. Even albino squirrels aren't like white. They're kind of cream. So I've still got my brown. I'm going to, so in this one, I've got brown here, red here. I'm going to reverse that just so that I can do my red squirrel here so that the brown branch isn't on a brown squirrel. That's just what I thought in my head. So I'm going to do a brown squirrel here, but you could do your brown squirrel, whichever one. I might switch to my small brush. We'll see. Yeah, this is pretty big. I'm just going to wipe this off. Wipe it off. Grab my slightly smaller brush. And that way I can get some more squirrely, fuzzy texture. And definitely as you are going near the edge of your squirrel, tail, feet, whatever, make it fuzzy. So little brush strokes that go onto the sky. Right onto some of that blue, and then he'll look like a fuzzy little guy. Yeah, and think about the flow of how fur would grow. Kind of up and out. Thick brush strokes, thin brush strokes, anything goes. They don't have to be all the same. Where is it? Where are we? Yeah, mine's not perfect. There's some gaps. There's long fuzzes, short ones. It's all good. Here's where we can get our feet back looking like feet. They got kind of smudged with blue. I did 3 toes on my feet. I'm positive they have more toes, but for cartoon's sake, I just did 3. Yeah, that's why cartoons like Mickey Mouse, The Simpsons, they only have 4 digits. They lost a digit because it's easier to draw and animate 4 fingers than 5, and you don't really notice the difference. Not too much. Those feet aren't even the same. Whoops, that's okay. This one's much fatter than that foot. I'm not worried. I'm not gonna stress about that. Fuzz up his legs a little bit. We will be adding some black, some white. That'll give it more texture, more shading, more depth. Because right now it just kind of looks like one-dimensional. The whole thing looks one-dimensional right now, guys. It's gonna look great though. So there's a brown squirrel. I might as well add some brown to my chipmunk because he's brown and white. So he has 2 stripes on his butt area, back area, 2 stripes. And then the tail has 1 white stripe down the middle. So we just need to paint the brown not in those areas. So I'm thinking I'll do the tail first. I'll do brown down both sides of the tail, leaving the middle white. And we will actually put white on the white, especially because you're going to see little bits of the sketch. We don't want any naked canvas. So we will paint white on the white. But I'm just kind of fuzz up that brown. Fuzz the brown on both sides of his tail. Middle is white. And then the back or the bum area, brown in the middle. And brown on either side of that, so it ends up being 2 white stripes. Brown, blank, brown, blank, brown. And I gave him brown feet. Meow. Who is it? Come here. Brown little feet. Again, that one's really big. That one's not so big. Let me try to fix that. I mean, they're never going to be exactly the same. That's fine. That's okay. Brown tail. Good, good, good. If you want more brown squirrels, fill those in. I'm going to do kind of like a reddish and a grayish. So do I want to wash my brush? That's a good question. You know, I have some brown on my brush. There is going to be some brown leaves, so I might as well throw in some blobs and strokes that are going to be part of the leaf pile. Literally, you could just kind of smudge your brush like this. You could make an actual leaf shape. Do like a nice leaf like that. You could add kind of a maple leaf kind of situation, kind of spiky. But really, it's mostly just filled in with just random brush strokes. So while we have brown, might as well smudge some of that around. Yeah, look at how non-leaf-like they look. smudges, lines. I guess we could kind of do like an oak. Oak leaf is like rounded. That. Looks more like a hand. And we could throw some brown in here later. I just thought, get some of this on here now. Why not? A few on the ground too. Let's say your grass is very dark. Mine's pretty dark. Maybe it's going to be hard to see leaves on the ground. You could throw a little white. Two different colors of brown. This one's a little lighter, a little bit more visible. Throw some of those smudges in. Oh, even in here, lighter brown, darker brown. Leaves on the ground. We're gonna add a lot more colors in there. I'll leave it at that, but we can always revisit the brown and add more brown. There we go. So we've been going over an hour. If you need to take a break, bathroom break, stretching break, feed the dog break, you can just hit pause and then come back when you're ready. Yeah, you don't have to go the full like 2 hours without a little breath. Gray, red. Let's do a little gray. I'm gonna do a little gray. I'm using my medium for the mixing. A little bit of black. Black goes a long way. Little smidge of black with some white. Let's make a little gray over here. Light gray, dark gray. There's a lot of different squirrels out there. And you can test it out. It's a pretty basic shade of gray, maybe a little lighter, but pretty happy with that. I'll get my little brush, fill in my squirrel butt, making the outer edges a little bit fuzzy. Fuzz up its tail, as bushy as you want. There you go. I mean, you can still see little bits of my sketch still a little bit visible, but we're going to have distracting leaves. We're going to have outlines, so that little bit of sketch won't bother me later. I am going to add like a little bit of white in with my gray, because it is pretty dark. Get a little white, and it is turning like slightly gray. Got a wicked glare. I'll get rid of the glare, maybe like that. I'm just getting a little white on my gray brush and just kind of mushing it in here. But later on, we're going to add some like crisp, beautiful, bright white as well. So it's okay that it's turning grayish, just giving it some more texture. It needs it. Okay, yeah, a little bit of white in there gives it a little more texture. Okay, and then when you're ready with the gray, you can go ahead and do your orange or red or anything. Beige. Let's go with orangey red. I'll get my medium for some mixing. I like it better. I'm gonna make some orange. We haven't made orange yet, so I'm gonna get a little bit of red. Red is very strong. It goes a long way. Here's some yellow. Where will I mix it? Maybe right here. Red and like a good amount of yellow. Where are we? We're right here. Red and yellow is orange. Do you want it more reddish? More yellowish? Do you want it brownish? I might grab a little bit of brown, put it in my orange. Kind of make it like a burnt orange. Looks pretty orange on the camera. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's do a little test. Oh yeah, it looks pretty orange on there. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna use my little brush and do some fuzzy texture. Yeah, so because the orange is quite see-through, because I have a lot of yellow in it, I can still see the sketch, the blue of the sketch. We're going to cover that up with black, with white. No one's going to see that. We're at that stage of a painting that sometimes we call it like the ugly stage. It's not ugly, it's just we haven't got the pops of the highlights, and we don't have any shading, we don't have any texture. So everything looks very flat and awkward and like ugly, but it's not. You have to push through and know that in the next steps, it's going to significantly improve. And don't give up yet. Don't give up at this point, because this is where you might think, oh, there's no point in going forward anymore. It's ruined. It is not. It is not ruined. We're going to power through and make it pop. Because, yeah, even if you look at mine doesn't look so great. Every painting has an ugly stage. Oh yeah, I like that orange, that hit of orange. Love it. Since I have orange on my brush, might as well throw some leafy blobs, shapes, brush strokes, crumpled up leaves. I'm just making absolutely crazy random shapes. What the heck is that? Who knows? Who cares? And I definitely want to have some of these leafy brush strokes and blobs going like out into the sky, because we want the sides of our leaf pile to not be straight. We want something jutting out here and there. At the very tippy top, something jutting out over here. The edges, right along these edges, something jutting, jut, jut, jut. And we'll do that with red, we'll do that with orange, brown, maybe some white, maybe some black. Maybe some down below on the ground. Yeah, these are a little more dull because it's against the green. That's all right. Yeah, a little duller. That's all right. We'll outline them. Oh, we can add a little white. If you add a little white in your orange, well, that helps. That helps. A little white into the orange. A little bit better. Love it. Good, good. All right, what do I want to add? I'm thinking about my little scarf on the far side, that scarf way over there. If you want to add a scarf or many scarves, I'll use my medium brush. We'll add a scarf. I mean, the sky's the limit. You want to add a little stick here and a little toque or a little scarf or anything, a little birdhouse. Have a little dangling birdhouse. Anything. What color scarf will I want today? I kind of want an orange scarf, but it could be red, it could be green, it could be black. Sure, black scarf. Ryan says, my leaf pile looks like pizza. That's true. It will probably look a little pizza-ish. Okay, I'm going to do an orange scarf. Now, if your blue is a very dark, maybe it's darker than mine, it's a good idea to first do a ghost version of your scarf. Do it in white. So if I want like a lighter scarf, like orange, do like a ghost version of your scarf first, and mine's like kind of thrown over the branch here. And then we'll let that dry, and then we'll add a second coat, the actual coat. But if you want to do like a dark color scarf, you're probably good to just go ahead and paint it. So there's like a white ghost version of where I'm going to put a scarf. So I'll let that dry a little bit. Oh, I have white on my brush. I might as well put some white on my little chipmunk stripes. You could do this with your Small brush, of course. Yeah, that's a good idea. Small brush is better. Silly, silly. So we are painting white on white canvas. It seems silly, but we just want to cover up any of like the blue sketch and just not have naked canvas. There. And yeah, I think it looks whiter. Looks a little bit whiter. Okay. Let's do, I'm going to add more colors. So red for sure, maybe a darker orange, maybe a lighter brown, any colors that you want to do in here. Throw some green ones in there too. Lighter brown, darker brown. Literally anything goes. I'm going to get some red first. And we don't need to fill in like every single little gap, but most of your leaf pile should have a little something going on. Red. Thin ones, thick ones. Don't forget to have some jutting out the sides of your leaf pile so your leaf pile has a texture. Some of these leaves could be, you know, kind of overlapping your squirrel. Red. I'll do some red down in the grass. I guess you could even have some leaves in the air. Anywhere in the air, they could be like being flung off the pile, or they could just be like falling. Why don't I do a few of those? Okay, red. Let's do some orange. Could be crossing across the trunk. Leaves falling anywhere. Overlapping, touching each other. I've got so many, I've got brown, I've got yellow, orange, red. You could just kind of dip and have like a random assortment on your brush and just kind of have like a two-toned leaf. Smudging colors together. What do I need more of? More red. I am not even washing my brush between colors. I'm just grabbing the next color as I see fit. Like dark brown. A little brown with a little black. Make a darker version. So I added a little black and it's darker. Oh yeah. Don't worry, we don't need to outline every single leaf. We're not going to do that. That would be crazy. Okay, yeah, it's looking more full as a leaf pile. I'm liking the kind of leaves scattered around in the air. I think it gives it more energy, more movement. Let's get some really dark ones, even over here. What about, you can do more yellow. If you are going to do some yellow, be sure to put some white in it. White plus yellow. White plus yellow. Otherwise, the yellow is not going to like show up as well. Let's put some yellows down here. Yep. Yep. I like it. Don't really need much more yellow in here. This has got plenty of yellow going on for me. Oh, you know, it's be very distracting if I put a yellow or any color, if any visible sketch lines are still kind of showing, you could just put a distracting leaf on it. What do I think? Am I done on the leaf pile? I think so. This is dry enough. I'm going to paint it orange or the color of your choice. Yeah, kind of pastel orange over there, but I'm not mad at it. That's good. Good. So if you want to add literally anything else to your painting, now's the time to do it, because from here on out, we're going to be doing outlines, highlights, a lot of black, a lot of white. So if you do want to have a nest in the tree, a bird in the tree, a birdhouse, someone's gloves and hat are laying on the ground, a little thermos of hot cocoa that they brought along with them, a little, I have no idea, anything you want to add it now. Hit pause, add what you want, unpause, rejoin us for all the outlining. Because it's nice and colorful, lots of fun, lots of movement, but we need more definition. So we're going to add some black and white, and it'll pop. Yes, the rakes we will add as we add all of our black and our white. Might as well do that all together. Blacks and whites. And my style is kind of cartoony, but I love it. There is some that I did. I mean, this one, the Frosty Butts, was a little less cartoony and a little bit more, scooch more real. But for the most part, I do like a good outline. These guys all outlined, bold, popping off the page. Nothing wrong with a good black outline. Yeah, so this is still quite wet, but we can start outlining like the trees, let's say, edge of the grass. I'm going to use my little thin brush. I like to add water to my black. So here's my black uncut. We want to add water. So I'll dunk it, mix in a little bit of water, dunk it again, mix in a little bit of water, dunk it again, a little bit of water. I don't want it like super runny, but I want it more spreadable, more smooth, a little bit runnier, but not like watercolor. That's just water. You still want a thickness. And I like to twirl. I'm twirling my brush in the black paint so that when I take the brush out of the paint, the point is kind of like together, not like flayed out, but the point comes together with the twirling of the brush. Twirl your brush. I'll start with the trees. They're fairly dry, fairly easy. Let's have a little closer look. My outlines are messy. They're not perfect. They're wiggly. Sometimes the outline isn't even on the edge. Sometimes the outline is cutting into the tree a little bit or a little bit away. Over here. Thick parts, thin parts. Wispy. They don't all have to be crisp. Thick ones. Anything goes. Black, runny black. Even more runny. I keep adding water till I'm at the consistency that I want. Okay, look at this one. This is the first one. Here it is. Look how thick. Then it got wispy. Then it got thick again. Then it got weird. Over here, it's not even against the branch. There's a blue gap. And it got thick there. That's fine. No one's looking at that one branch. They're looking at the overall painting. I'm outlining things. I could add little wisps of barky texture, little lines that could be like grooves in the bark. Oh, I got a leaf here in the way, so I might as well outline that little leaf in the way of my tree. There's another leaf in my way. Whoops. And those leaf outlines weren't even on the edge. Yeah, look at, where is it? Not even on the edge. A little bit in. Also add more branches with the black. So let me add one here. Always thinking of the letter Y. I'm still thinking of the letter Y. You could have more lines than me, less, anything at all. What if I want to add a little branch coming out here? You could paint a little, like a hole in the tree, like a little squirrel's house. A little knot, a little hole. Maybe an owl lives in there. Okay, I think it's got a good amount of texture in that. in that particular tree. We are going to add some white to the trees too. So this is not quite the final look. And then like the base of the tree, just imagine grass and just kind of draw some zigzags in the grass, kind of where the green and the brown meet. Like a mess. It's just like a messy zigzag. You have some long ones, thick ones, thin ones. Just finishes it up a little bit. All right, we'll do the other tree. Again, we could add extra twigs, extra branches. Branches can crisscross each other. I'm grabbing more water to mix in with my paint, keeping it nice and fluid, spreadable. A little bit more texture in there. Not perfect in any way. Wiggly, messy. Yeah, we'll add some white in a little bit. That'll enhance it more. Okay, what else is dry? These guys are pretty dry. Scarf, maybe a little wet. So I'm going to outline the animals, but it could be a little bit messy. So look at these little zigzags around. It doesn't even perfectly follow, like, so a little bit of the, oh, where am I? A little bit of the brown is sticking out. Yeah, you don't have to follow every little brush stroke that you made. You don't have to. Loose outline, even some of the blues showing. water with the black paint. Twirl your brush. Maybe it's easier for you to pick up your painting and hold it like nearer to you in your lap, maybe, so it's more steady. And just get right up close with your brush. Could be thick, could be thin. Maybe you have a paint pen and you want to use a paint pen to do some outlining. You can do that. Okay, let's look at my tail. Okay. Thick bits, thin bits, wispy bits, didn't even follow the outline bits. That's all right. There's one. See, he's more defined. He's popping out more. This guy seems to be at the same level as the background because he's not outlined. There. Prime example of me not following my brush strokes. It was kind of smooth there, but I wanted to make it look bushier, so I made the zigzag. And there's blue. There's blue right on the tail. I'm not worried. I hope Ryan's pizza pile is looking more like leaves. We'll add some black and really make sure it doesn't look like pizza. But that would be a funny painting too. Something jumping into pizza. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, perhaps. That would be a mouthful. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle butts. I'm sure there's some copyright issues there too. Right, I got my gray squirrel outlined. Do a little chipmunk action. He's a little smaller and he's got like stripes. You got to be a little teeny tiny bit more delicate, careful. I suppose if you wanted to, you could give these guys like little teeny tiny toenails too. If you want them to have a little toenail, a claw, if you will. I'm not going to, but that could be a cute little detail. Okay, so yeah, did my little chippy. little bit more delicate around his stripy bottom. Still messy. Oh, did I forget a line? I forgot a line. Whoops, right along here. Good. Now I want the animals to have like a little bit extra little bits of texture here and there. Little bits. So, you know, what was that? Big bug. Quick little zigzag, couple little black brush strokes in their body, little zigzag, couple strokes here and there. Just a little bit. And then we'll also give them little, like as if they're moving, maybe they're wiggling, little motion, little lines, little flicks, flick, 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 flick. Maybe they're squirming in this leaf pile. We've caught them just as they've dove in, and they're quivering. So we'll do little quick zigzags anywhere in their fur. Body, tail, little up, down, up. Like a little W shape or a little M shape. Just little squiggles. Anywhere. Maybe I'm not going to do one on the chipmunk because he's pretty tiny. Yeah, just a couple. There's a few here, couple. And then those little motion, kind of like an apostrophe. Anywhere sort of near their body, near their foot. Like a little curve, a little flick. Even like on the leaf pile, it doesn't have to be on the sky. Where? Here, maybe a little one here. Yeah, just those little flicks make it seem a little bit like they're quivering. Okay, my leaves, these are still pretty wet because I kind of globbed it on a little bit, but it's getting there. It's getting there. But I'm going to see, yeah, that's good. Just do a little outline of my scarf. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. There could be thick parts, thin parts. I'll give them some little like tassels, I guess, or fringe. You know, those little stringy bits on the ends of scarves. Are these little tassels blowing in the wind? Or are they straight down? I did some black ones. I'll also throw some white ones in there when that's a little drier. Do you want a pattern on your scarf? Or do you want polka dots or zigzags? Or I did a bit of a stripy thing. Any pattern you want to do. Yeah, pretty basic little stripe, but I'll add some white in there too. You can add another color. Okay. I am ready to start outlining some leaves, but it's not all the leaves. It's not every single leaf, and it's not even like, look, I did this kind of zigzaggy maple leaf against just a blob. That one gave it some more shape, even though it was just like a straight up blob. You can make it like a leaf like this. But yeah, a lot of them are just like this blobby shape, this weird shape. Even down here, like I gave this one kind of a zigzag thing, but even though it was just like one brush stroke. Oh, look at that one. It's almost like a Batman thing. Again, just on a random blob. And then the edge of your leaf pile, make it jagged. Even though there isn't that jaggedy shape, I just made it that way over here. Jagged. Give it some character. Yeah, you could do a couple of like little flicks as like the vein of the leaf. A little flick, a little flick. You just want texture. A little water on the brush, a little black paint. Roll it, spin it. I'm going to start with like the outline, I guess, and then get into the main bit. Yeah, you can give some more texture to your grass. Grass near the bottom. Yeah, wherever a squirrel or animal is like jumping into the leaves, you need to kind of define that area. Maple leaves are kind of jagged and pointy. Oak leaves are a little bit more rounded, lobey. So this one's kind of, where is it? This one's kind of more like oak versus jagged maple. And don't forget leaves in the sky, leaves on the ground. Again, not every leaf has to be outlined. And you could take much more time with these leafy details than me. I'm just kind of smacking them on here because I don't mind the loose, sketchy look. There, so like, yeah, not every single leaf, but a good amount here and there. This one. I will do like the edge of my grass, all this little bit. Where the blue and the green meet, zigzag. Messy zigzag. Not even following the grass that I painted. Just making it up. Yeah, it's a little bit more defined now. Here, here. And then, well, we have the black, a rake, 2 rakes, 3 rakes. How many rakes? I mean, there's 4 dudes, but I only painted 3 rakes. Up to you. It could be black, could be blue rakes, brown rakes, white rakes. I don't know. Just a stick handle, and then what would I call it? Like a triangle with tines coming out of it, right? So it's an upside down letter Y. I'm obsessed with the letter Y. And then I kind of fill in a little section. So that's like the support area where the tines are welded to, attached to. My tines are not all the same. Some are thicker, some are thinner. Don't worry about it. They're not spaced evenly. And rakes, like they go out straight, but then they have those like little claws at the end. If you want to paint those, you can. Those little bits that go down. I will tell my cat, pss, 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 come here. Usually at least one cat just kind of marches right across the painting area, but so far they're just kind of milling about. I have 3 cats. So there's my rake. I did a kind of like a curve support cross beam, if you will. So there's a rake. I'll do one more rake. Lying down rake. You could do, I've got 2 standing up rakes, and then I've got a lying down rake. There's 1, 2, 3. You can do more or less, whatever you feel like. I'll do one laying down. Come here. So I made the letter Y lying down, filled in a little of that triangle, do some tines. The little bent end bits if you want. A little cross beam support. That's a cute little rake. Yeah, my cats are so loud, but they've been fed, so I don't know what their problem is. Last thing, some little white bits here and there. Just little bits on the tree a little bit. Like you can see, little white. Little. A little bit on the tail. A little bit of zigzag of white. A little bit, tiny. Some in the gray. Some white. Little zigzags. This guy, yep, look at that nice little zigzags of white. A little bit there. Where else? Oh, this tree. A little in the scarf. You can add polka dots, zigzags, and then I did a smidge on the rake. Just a little highlight on the rake. But yeah, trees along this side here, along here. I'm picturing maybe the sun is coming from this direction. If the sun is coming from here, it would hit this side. It would hit this side, this side. That's the reasoning behind that. Give that a good rinse so we have some nice white. And I do want to show you some upcoming events with me. So once we're done painting, we will, I'll show you some sneak peeks. I've got some new stuff that I made today. So it hasn't even been, we haven't even made an event for it. Unreleased material that I can show you. Brand new this afternoon. Tiny bits of white, just give them a little bit of highlight, a little bit more texture. Messy, it's scribbly, it's zigzaggy. Yeah, picture the sun. The sun is coming, boom, it would hit some there, boom, here, a little bit here. On the trees, a little bit. Little bit. And you can take much more time than I am. Just with practice comes speed. But speed is not everything. It is not about speed at all. Where else can I put a little white? What if we did little bits of white on a couple leaves? Why not? The leaves would have a highlight, sure. Oh, I did mention a little on the rake. As long as your rakes are dry. A little swoosh. Where else? I mean, even in the leaf pile, I could add little bits of white. Highlights here and there. Boop. Boop. Nothing wrong with that. One more texture. This guy. Maybe even in the grass. I could do that. In the grass. Oh, my scarf. Gotta have something white in the scarf. Oh, yeah. I'm going to sign it, and then I'm going to show you guys some fun upcoming events with me if you've been enjoying my teaching style, my art style. I just like to do the old initials. The initials in the corner, pretty standard for me. You can put your whole signature, the year, the date, the title, Fall Fun Butts. What else could you add? A bird in the sky, a bird on a tree. Rain, maybe it's starting to rain, maybe it's starting to hail. Anything. A caterpillar climbing on a branch, I don't know. I guess fall is not really caterpillar season. All right, that's that one. Let's show you some upcoming stuff. I'll show you some paid ones and some free. So this is the next acrylic one coming up with me. Isn't he cute? Llama with a latte in acrylic. And look at the background. We've done that background, the crisscross zigzag textured background. So Llama with a latte, this is a paid event. So you can get tickets on our website. Here I am. artistpaletterm.com. $10 a ticket. It's a Zoom event. So you have more one-on-one with me. You can ask questions. You can show me your work as we go along. Yeah, it's a lot more intimate setting. And then if you can't make the live event, you get the full recording to do anytime at all. You keep it forever. So Llama with a Latte is in 1 week. Thursday. I usually teach on Thursdays. Llama with a Latte. Thursday, that's the 22nd. The next free one coming up for me. Acrylic. Ride home from the patch, or pumpkin patch. Ride home from the pumpkin patch. Ride home from the patch. Something like that. Free right here on YouTube Live 2 weeks from now. So that is the 29th, a Thursday. Very simple design. We're going to do some, look at the background again. Crisscross, wispy background. We've done this background. And you see the little motion lines that I like to add, like it's kind of trembling in motion. Outlines, kind of sketchy, kind of messy, thick parts, thin parts. These are all skills we just learned today. Apply that to the next painting and get even better at it. So this one is on the 29th here on YouTube Live, free. And then we're already getting into October, and I promised you some sneak peeks. So first, let me show you, this one's already been released. So this isn't a sneak peek, but we're going to get into some more watercolors in October. This one is Cat on a Crisp Afternoon. This one's on Zoom, paid event, tickets on our website. October 6th, watercolor. You could follow along in acrylics too. And here comes some sneak peeks. here comes some sneak peeks because we haven't released these events yet. This one's going to be free, YouTube Live, I believe on October 13th. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. It's in watercolor, but you could follow along in acrylics too. So we do pen and then we do watercolor. Free YouTube Live on the 13th. Join me for that one. And then here's one. No one's seen this before. I made it this afternoon. This one's called Wicked Heels. Pen and watercolor. Tickets on our website. And you get the recording to keep forever. October 20th, I believe. So we'll do that one on Zoom together. Tickets on our website. Another sneak peek. I made this afternoon. It is I called it Haunted Homestead. This is all pen. So this one's just a drawing event. We're going to use a pen. And it's kind of like a scribble technique. If you look really closely at the dark black, it's just all scribble. The whole thing is scribble, really, if you look real close. It's just fun to do. And you could add color to this after the fact. You could add watercolors, pastels, what else? Colored pencils, acrylics. That one is October 27th, so very close to Halloween. Haunted Homestead on Zoom with me, Chris. What else can I tell you or show you? We did pretty good. I mean, I usually aim for 2 hours, but we did 2 hours 15. Very solid. I would love to see your paintings, your version of this painting. We have a wonderful Facebook group. Let me find the link to that. It's called Artist Palette Painting/Drawing Support Group. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Paste. So in the chat over here, you can join that group, share your paintings. We're a very supportive, positive community, so you won't get any negativity there. What else can I show you? So I showed you some of the butts, the previous butts series. If you want to find those videos, I will put a link in the chat. Paste. There it is. Another link. The second link is to all the other butts series videos, free on YouTube. You can do one tonight. You can do barnyard butts tonight if you're feeling like you want to paint some more butts. The butts series began because I don't know why. I think Lisa dared me to have the word butts in the title of a painting. I'm like, I'm going to paint some butts. And then it just kind of took off from there. Any last questions for me? Type them in the chat before we go. Otherwise, you could direct message us on Facebook or email us. Anything at all? Any more? You're welcome to Ryan. Ryan said thank you. Ryan also likes doing watercolor. Excellent. Yeah, it's nice to develop your skills in several mediums. Okay, I don't see any more questions. All right, have a lovely rest of your evening and a lovely fall. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the bicycle one right here on YouTube Live. See you then. Bye, guys.